This happened about 2 months ago, and I still get chills whenever I think about it. So I work construction, and whenever I get off work, I always like to go to the gas station to get some snacks. On this particular day in question, I had got off work around 7 p.m. I was heading to my local gas station to get some drinks and candy. When I walked inside of the gas station, I saw that there was a guy that was heading out right as I was walking in. I picked my snacks, drink, and then paid. While heading to my car, I had overheard someone calling someone, so I decided to turn around and the worker at the gas station was outside. He then said,
"Hey you didn't pay for those items."
I was like, "What are you talking about? I literally just paid for them."
"Get over here and pay or else I'm going to call the cops and get them to arrest you."
I then replied back, "No, I literally just paid for these like I just told you." I noticed that while he was saying all of this, he was pointing at my car and kind of hinting something. Then he started waving for me to come towards him. So I decided to walk up to him and he walked me inside. Once we got inside, he then told me something absolutely chilling.
"There's someone inside of your car. When you were paying, I noticed on the cameras that someone was walking into your car with a knife in their hand."
I was absolutely shocked and totally confused about this. When I went to look at my car, my back door was wide open. I walked right up to it, but there was no one inside. I didn't bother to call 911 since I didn't really want to file a report and go through all of that. I don't know what happened to the guy that was going to get in my car or what he was planning to do, but to this day, I'm really grateful to that worker for possibly saving my life. And remember, always lock your doors. The story takes place a long time ago on a frigid December night in 2007. I had gone to a friend's Christmas party and I'm now heading back to my apartment. On the way back, there's some construction blocking the exit to the freeway that I needed to take home. This is before the days that GPS navigators and maps were pretty common on phones. I decide to stop at a nearby gas station and to ask the clerk for directions to the next exit so I can get onto the freeway. As I'm walking into the store, a young woman appears seemingly out of nowhere and starts walking towards me. Just the sight of her puts me on edge. She's wearing a really ripped up black hoodie right underneath a thick windbreaker and a set of baggy cargo pants. I turn away and start walking faster, hoping I can get into the store and just avoid her. She calls out, "Hey, wait." I pretend that I can't hear her and just keep walking, but then she shouts out again. This time quite loudly, "Wait up," and she waves her arms around. At this point, I can't really ignore her now, so I apprehensively turn to face her. Now that she's closer, I can see her face a little more clearly. The massive amount of makeup she's wearing doesn't conceal her sunken red eyes. I'm not gonna lie, her face was quite attractive, but somehow, I don't know, that just made her all the more unsettling to me. Before she even starts talking to me, I just know this is going to be trouble. "So what do you want?" I say to her. "Yeah, so I know I don't know you, but could you do me a huge favor? My car won't start, and I think the battery's dead. Can you jumpstart my car? It's right over there." The lady points to a vehicle parked on the other side of the lot. No, sorry. I don't have any jumper cables in my car," I tell her. "I think they sell those things here in the gas station. Why don't you buy some and then you can help me?" she says with a smile. I can tell that she's trying to be flirty with me. "I'm sorry, but I can't help you." I tell her this and start walking away, hoping she'll get the hint. Instead, she grabs my arm and pulls herself closer to me. "Come on, a hot guy like you can't help me out? You seem really cool. What's your name?" "I'm Tiffany." She puts her arm around my waist and then tries to cuddle up to me. I can smell the cigarette stench mixed with the perfume coming off of her. Now, as a young single guy in his early 20s, normally I would welcome an attractive young woman coming on to me, and I'll admit I was pretty tempted by her, but there's something really shady about this. I push her arm off. "Look, I can't help you. Ask someone else." I decide immediately that I really need to get away from this girl and start walking back to my car, figuring that I'll just drive somewhere else and ask for directions. Of course, she follows me. "Hey, come on, don't walk away. Where's your Christmas spirit? I really want to get to know you. Come back to my car," she says as she once again grabs my arm. I shake her off and just keep walking. I get to my car and open the driver's side door. She walks to the passenger side and literally tries to open it. "Look, I told you I can't help you." I shout at her as I get into my car and close the door. I turn on the engine and she runs over to the driver's side and knocks on the glass. I want to drive away, but she's positioned herself in such a way that I might risk hitting her if I pull out of the parking space. I slightly roll down my window and then I tell her, "Look, for the last time, I'm not going to help you. Get the hell away from my car and take a hike." Her demeanor instantly changes from fun and flirty to angry and hostile. She then shouts back at me, "You freaking loser, like I'd ever even let you touch me anyways. Screw you." She kicks my door and runs back to her car. I'm really kind of shocked as to what she's done. I'm ready to get out of the car and call the police on her, but to my horror, when I look over, I then see her climb into the passenger seat of her car and watches another man emerges from the shadows and then climbs into the driver's seat. He's carrying what looks like an ice scraper in his hand. My heart starts pounding as I then hear the other car's engine then fire up. She had been lying about her car being unable to start. I fearfully realize that there's no time to call the cops now. I have to get out of here right now. I pulled out of that gas station faster than I've ever pulled out of anywhere in my life and peeled out onto the road. I can see the other car then pull out and then start following me in my rearview mirror, thus beginning what would then become the most dangerous few minutes of driving in my life. I then start driving as fast as I can away from the other car. They stay in pursuit of me, honking their horn as they try to catch up to me. I take just about every turn that I can and weave around a few cars. I come up to a light that's just about to turn red and I see my opportunity now. I slow down a bit and the light turns red. I wait a couple of seconds and then I gun it right through the light, getting a few horns honked at me from the oncoming traffic, but I don't care at this point. I look in my rearview mirror and I can see the other car slam its brakes at the red light. I then drive away as quickly as possible and pull into a nearby subdivision. I take a few turns and drive deep into the neighborhood, parking near a dark house. I turn off my lights and finally take a few minutes to breathe. My heart is pounding a mile a minute and I can hardly sit still. I wait a few minutes to try and calm my nerves and finally start driving back out the way I came. When I get into the road, there's no signs of the car. It looks like I've lost them. I eventually drive down to a different gas station and then ask for directions in there. I also tell the clerk that there's a crazy couple on the loose trying to lure people into a trap by claiming their battery is dead, but he doesn't seem all that interested. I can't really blame him though, because I didn't really have a lot of info to give. I never got a good look at the car or its license plate. I safely make it back to my apartment. When I get out of my car and look at my driver's side door, thankfully the dent that girl made with her kick wasn't too bad or too much damage. Over a decade later, that story's still one of the scariest things that has ever happened to me. I'll never forget the look of pure malice that the girl gave me when she then shouted at me and kicked my door. My guess is that she was a junkie of some kind. I don't really know. I have no idea who that other guy was or what they intended on doing to me. I sometimes think to myself, what would have happened to me if I let her seduce me into that trap? That very thought chills me to this day. So to all you guys out there, don't let the head between your legs do the thinking for the head between your shoulders, especially if she's aggressively coming on to you for no good reason. Also to Tiffany, and I really doubt that's your real name, you can rot in hell. You and that scumbag guy you were with. It's been nearly 13 years, but I still really hope to never see either of you ever again. A young white man who looked to be about 25 years old came up to my window at the gas station I work at. He was dressed very well in a new red Nike sweater, new Nike shoes, and a new baseball cap, and was also freshly shaven. I approached the window, and he asked me about a particular energy drink that we don't really carry, so nothing too weird quite yet. When I tell him we don't have it, he looks super dejected, and he kinda just stands there for about 2 minutes without saying anything. I'm a pretty patient person, and I deal with a lot of weird people pretty often, so I just silently wait. The young guy then asked me,
"What should I do?"
And I reply, about what? He then starts to tell me about how he hasn't eaten in like 2 days and asks what he should do. This is typically a ploy for free stuff. I said, well, you could buy some food. Do you have any money? He says,
I have $2, but I really want an energy drink.
We kinda go back and forth for about a minute until I tell him he should probably go to the local shelter as they'll give him some free food. This is obviously not what he wanted, and without another word, he runs off. I think, man, that's super weird, and then go back to cleaning the store. About an hour later, the guy returns. When he comes back, it seems that whatever he took had hit him pretty hard. A car had followed him and a lady speaking very loudly to him, though I can't really understand what she's saying. He's smiling and nodding at her, then turns as she drives off. He then yet again approaches the window with a really huge smile on his face. I ask him what I can get him. He replies,
"Your eyes. They're green. Did you know that's a very rare gene to have?"
I kind of just nod and smile as my eye color seems to attract a lot of comments anyway, and I know better than to press weird conversations at 3 a.m. He continues,
"It means you have light in your soul, rainbow light inside of you. Your name contains the name of Ra from the sun god in Egyptian culture. You're a part of creation in the universe."
I frown and don't say anything back to him as wearing a name tag seems to always elicit weird comments as well. He continues,
"I have a very special $2 bill and 3/4 that, if invested correctly, will be worth a lot of money. I'll pay with these. You need to keep them and then use them to make money."
He then proceeds to put 3/4, a $2 bill, and a pine cone in my box. I kinda think to myself how strange it is that he assumes I'll be able to do anything with the money when it's the gas station's money, not mine. Also that he put a freaking pine cone in the box. I ask him, what do you want to buy? And I explain that he can buy a water, some chocolate, and a tea with the amount he's given me, which also fixes his issue of wanting to eat, get caffeine, and stay hydrated. He then agrees with my suggestions. He seems really grateful to me as I get his items, all the while smiling very brightly at me through the window. I'm thoroughly stressed out by the unwanted eye contact the entire time. While I'm cashing out the transactions, he runs to the gas pumps and starts staring at the ceiling of the pumps. This goes on for a good 3 minutes or so. He then turns around and comes back. I give him his items and change, and once again, he starts telling me about the love and light in the universe, and then he asks me why I gave him the coins back. I also want to add it wasn't the same coins. I was literally just giving him his change back. I explained to him that I can't keep them as it's against the company policy to keep the customer's change. He then decides to bolt into the direction of the highway that's right in front of my work with his items and then disappears right into the darkness. Definitely one of the weirdest and creepy encounters I've had yet. So this happened to me just last Christmas. Now for Christmas I had 3 different house parties to go to. So I decided to split my time so that I could see everyone. Because of this, I really wanted to get really dressed up and put my best makeup on. I guess you can say I'm fairly attractive, and I guess the makeup and pretty dress overdid it. I first spent the day with my family, then moved on to my best friend's house party. Her family is a lot like my family, and we had a really great time. I actually stayed there a lot longer than I should have, and I ended up leaving right as it was getting dark. Now I'm off to my boyfriend's family's party now. As I was driving there, I had noticed I needed gas. I was really trying to decide if I should get gas and be even later. I decided to get it then because I knew I'd be leaving his house pretty damn late, and I didn't want to be getting gas by myself at midnight or something. I normally don't really like going to that gas station because I've been catcalled there plenty of times before. And what do you know? I pull into the end pump, and first thing I hear right when I get out is,
"Hey sexy, you got a really nice body."
some guy is calling out to me from the window of his car. I kind of just do the half smile awkward thing. This was mere seconds after getting out of my car. I'm there standing at the pump, and for whatever dang reason, it's not working. It just keeps saying that it's not reading my card and that there's some kind of issue with it. But I just keep trying it because I just want to get the hell out of there. Because during this whole struggle, I get catcalled 2 more times by guys hanging out of their windows. I was really starting to freak out at this point. Some junk car then pulls up at the pump next to me. And this is a serious junk car. Like it didn't even have a whole door. It looked like it had some sort of bungee cord that was holding it together. I got a bad vibe and just decided to go inside and pay for my gas with the teller. The guy that was driving the junk car then gets out and he's going inside as well. But I feel like he's getting way too close to me, so once I get to the door, I open it and I let him go first. Like I was holding the door for him. I just didn't want him to be behind me. He starts saying how sweet I am, and it was just getting really creepy. He looked like he did really hard drugs, and just the way he was staring at me just really made my stomach turn. He looked like he was around my age too, which was 21 in case I didn't mention it. I was waiting in line and was getting lingering stares, but that didn't really bother me as much as the catcalls. So once I finally get to the cashier, he then says, "Oh, I can't give you gas." I'm like, why the hell not? And then he starts making some excuse on why he can't sell to Bronco fans. My purse is a Broncos purse. I'm just like, dude, I'm trying to get the hell out of here. Hurry up. I gave him a dirty enough look for him to start ringing me up, but he then starts trying to talk to me about random crap. Stuff that I don't even care about enough to remember. As I'm walking to my car, I then get catcalled by what is now like the 6th guy to bother me. Now, here's where I get the most scared. The junky car guy was right behind me walking out of the station. He walks up to his car and he's probably there for about a minute. I'm finally pumping gas now when I then hear the car to that door close. The junk car guy and a second guy then gets out with him. Now, the second guy looks so much more scary than him, and he then just starts staring at me. He's being really creepy and looking me up and down. My heart is literally pounding right now just remembering this part. He starts walking up to me and he's rounding the pump when I then hear some guy behind me catcalling me from his van. Van guy is still saying some really perverted things to me as he rounds the corner, then crashes right into a Mustang head on. Junk car guy number 2 literally jumps back at the noise. I take about a second to process what the hell just happened, then stop the gas and jump in my car as fast as possible, then reverse the hell out of there. The 2 really creepy junky car guys are like screaming in laughter now, telling me to look at what I did. They're literally laughing like,
"You just made him crash. Look what you did."
I reversed the hell out of there like they do in the movies. I literally had to stop the gas at like $4 because I didn't want to stay there even for a second longer. I don't even know how to explain how I felt. It was like I was shaking and crying and also laughing at the same time. I actually had to scream in my car just to get rid of this feeling. The thing that shocked me the most is that the gas station was packed, but that they had no shame to catcall me like that. This area I was in doesn't even have a lot of crime. I really don't understand how this even happened in the first place. I called my dad right away and I couldn't even tell the story. I was just laughing like a maniac because it just felt so surreal. After that happened, my boyfriend always goes with me now to get the gas there. If he knows that I'm getting gas close to him, he'll always drive to the parking lot to make sure I'm okay. I've never gone back to that gas station again, nor have I worn that dress. At the time, I was 19 years old. My current age is 23. At the time, I worked at a dog facility, and Murphy's was the closest gas station. I was driving a really old truck at the time, so you can't entirely trust the gas gauge on them all too much. I put in my card and started pumping my fuel when this really tall man came around my truck and then started talking to me, which is totally fine, but he just came out of nowhere. Well, he proceeded to take the nozzle right out of my hand and then started pumping my gas for me, which in my opinion was kind of odd to me. He then went on to ask me what I was doing pumping my own gas, and I proceeded to tell him kindly that I was an adult and I don't really need anyone to do it for me. Well, then he asked if I had a boyfriend. I said that I do, which I was totally screaming in my head how bad that I wished he was there. He then looked around and then said,
"Well, where's he at? I don't see him here."
At this point, I'm starting to mentally freak out, so I'm like, "Sir, just because we're young, that doesn't mean we don't have to work every day just like you. My boyfriend can't be with me 24/7 because we're both really busy trying to afford a place to live." The man stopped pumping my gas at that point and then said,
"You're right. Well, have a good day. I really can't wait to bump into you again."
I then finished pumping my gas and got the hell out of there. I always carry 2 knives on me at all times, and I have a knife in my trunk as well. I just want to add that I do understand being a gentleman and wanting to help someone out, but putting your hand on the nozzle to my pump while my hand was there, that is just not cool. Always ask first, and if they say it's okay, then fine. But don't just do it and then try and leave when they explain why their boyfriend isn't around all the time. So yeah, that was a little creepy for me. I haven't seen him since, but I also don't drive that same truck anymore. But I always have someone with me whenever I go to that gas station now.